I'm Isaac,
I'm Cole.
I'm O'Brien.
and this is the Criterion Coffee Club. We're three coffee addicts that just enjoy watching and making movies. We may not be regarded as leading experts, but we use our shared knowledge and experiences to help us dissect the world of cinema. So grab your favorite cup of coffee and sit back and relax. All right, cool. So you brought a coffee fact,
I
yes?
have a coffee fact. Yes. Um, y'all might us those listening at home probably don't know Beethoven, history's most famous composer, was a
Yes.
was a known coffee addict,
Ooh.
and he insisted on brewing his coffee himself, and apparently would count out 60 beans exactly for every cup that he made.
Wow.
That's interesting. That's before scales, I guess. So it makes sense he was counting the beans individually.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I guess he put those into a hand grinder and grind them
yeah.
up.
You have to do like a pour over situation.
Yeah, that's how it like really started.
Yeah.
It was pour over. And then the French made like their immersion brewer, the
Right.
French press. Yeah.
Ah. Okay. I've got a question for you guys.
Oh,
You've got our film this week, Broadcast News, and The Simpsons. Can you make a connection between the two?
Okay, wait. There's a connection between
The Simpsons.
the director James L. Brooks and the creator of The Simpsons,
Yeah. Matt Groening.
Meg Grinning. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a tough one. They
What
both
is it?
converge.
I thought you had it.
They both work together.
I
on
was
the
trying to
Tracy-
entice you to say it.
They both work together on the Tracy Ullman show because I know you guys. Y'all were.
Yeah,
what it was.
that's I can't remember what show it was. So they
Yeah.
worked together with the Tracy Ullman show, and so it was James L. Brooks who gave the creator of The Simpsons his first big shot at it, and obviously set him down on the path to create his.
And here's where I could.
Masterpiece,
When did
Futurama.
the Simpsons kind of roughly? When did the Simpsons start? The Simpsons start.
It was the 80s.
Wow.
Technically the Simpsons is a 90s show.
That-
But
yeah.
people always refer to it as the 80s because it started on the Carol Burnett show. And it was like little segments
Oh,
where they animated, and you can still find them today. So like the art styles changed drastically because one, they were like speed animating these.
right.
But also they were only like at most like 5-minute little shorts. And it
Mhm.
was usually like Homer getting mad at like Bart and
Right.
joking, the classic.
Yeah.
So stuff like that
Eat my
stayed.
shorts.
Yeah, and then like the voice actors did that, and then like it got so popular, and it actually exceeded the Carol Burnett show itself because it
Oh,
like
yeah.
was merchandising
Right.
for it everywhere. It was like on cereal commercials and stuff. And then finally the network was like, "Hey, Matt, what if you and your team just made it into a show?"
Yeah.
And then they never let it die.
Yeah.
So like Matt and his team, changed the art style a little bit to better suit television animation.
Mhm.
And then they had and then even like the voices have changed because now they're doing all these other emotions. So they had to do voices like Marge
Yeah.
specifically had to do a voice that could be happy, sad, angry,
Right. And
instead
not
of
just monotone.
Yeah, not just like kind of like the same general.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Carol Burnett because another big James L. Brooks show that would have been a contemporary, especially kind of early Carol Burnett, would have been the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and of course that's where James L. Brooks helping produce that picks up so much. Well, and apparently he worked for CBS doing documentaries even in the mid '60s, but then he brought all that journalism background, takes it to the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which is, of course, about a TV news reporter in Minneapolis. And then, of course, that ends up being in broadcast news, all that broadcast news experience. And that felt so authentic in the movie. That was, I don't want to jump ahead to the movie too fast, but I was just going to say, well, it's on the tip of my mind. Think and think of how many times you'll see in a big film a representation of a news reporter. And sometimes it does not feel authentic because these are people in the film industry. The writer came from the film side of things and not broadcast. Everybody's film, and they present a TV, part of like Independence Day or some movie where we cut in and we're seeing a newscast. Sometimes it does not feel authentic at all. But man, this was on the spot on with his background. I think they used people from CBS News and stuff, but his background, it felt so authentic. Of course, it had to be. This film had to be completely authentic with all about broadcast news. But I can't. I got to admit, I was trying to think of a film where it really missed the mark. Where like a Godzilla film, some sort of film where you're watching and you go, this newscast feels dopey. And I meant to kind of look that up online. Anything coming to you guys as
I've heard from a couple of broadcast people that I know find their struggles with the movie Civil War to be in the broadcast side of things more than anything else.
Interesting.
I can't really remember their reasoning for it, but I know at the very least with the reporter that's trying to get the quote from the Nick Offerman, the President Nick Offerman. I know that they had issues with like his depiction because it was like realistically like he wouldn't even be doing it, and he especially wouldn't be doing it that way. And that's how I felt like when I watched the movie. Like they were about to like shoot the president in the head. He was like,
"You should have kept on talking for a long time.
I need a quote." and then the president said something like, I don't remember what it was, like, help me or something like that. He's like, that'll do. And then he'd set him back down and pop right in the. I remember
got into filibuster mode, just kept on talking for 24 hours. Of course, but yeah, that's a good point. And I've seen that movie once, and I love the film. But that's a good point because the broadcaster. I was thinking of that just the other day. We're following the news photographer who, of course, pivots to the young girl, as her mentor is killed, which is just whoa, wow. I mean, it talks about what it takes to be a war reporter. What do you give up? What does it take? But that's who we're following, not the broadcast people. And so that's an interesting thing that at the end, it's the broadcast person gets the quote, and like you said, pop. And that's an interesting, But I just know in some science fiction films, especially about, big monsters and stuff, sometimes I'll be watching, I think, man, that just doesn't feel right. Having worked, my background with news is more with actually broadcast news is more working with LUTV, and I'm going and sometimes in a movie that just where they didn't take the time to really think about the broadcast news process, it doesn't feel authentic. And this film is so good for that, though.
Well, I did have a different movie fact.
Okay.
But during this conversation, it like hit me with a ton of bricks. A more fitting movie fact.
Okay, for what we got going on.
And so Orson Welles,
shout out,
as we know, did War of the Worlds,
right?
Well, to promote the movie, he did a radio broadcast.
Right, infamous.
Of course, yeah.
And the radio broadcast was the segment at the beginning of War of the Worlds when they first start talking about the aliens coming in and shooting and blowing everything up. More specifically, straight from the book. Like the first like couple pages where it's just that. And he performed it himself. But there was no prior warning to this. And this was like right around the time where kind of like the UFO epidemic. So he broadcast this out, and like the police stations across the country were getting so many calls because people were freaking out because they thought aliens were genuinely invading America. And to take it one step further, years down the line, and
Yeah.
I'm saying years down the line, this broadcast was broadcasted again in Venezuela,
Yeah.
but they didn't know about this.
Yeah.
So they randomly just heard on their radio just go, shh. This is a news broadcast. This is a serious alert. And then like proceed to explain aliens invading the
world. Hey, Orson Welles killed it.
Oh, 100%. They did mention at the beginning of the broadcast that this is an adaptation of H.G. Wells, but they didn't do that often enough. So if you tuned in, as we all do, 2 minutes late, you think it's real, and it did. I was watching a movie, The Right Stuff, and there's a lot of broadcast news because, of course, you cut to the reporters who are broadcasting about John Glenn. And and then there was an older report, and they felt fairly authentic. But there's ones that I didn't recognize, but there was one old school one I did recognize, and I got to admit, it was you taking this to space with the War of the Worlds made me think of The Right Stuff, which I've been watching again. And there was a reporter though that was just perfect because he really was from that. In the 60s, Eric Severide would broadcast the live launches from Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy at the time, and man, he felt great. And there's terrific. You can cut that authenticity. And there's also Jeff Goldblum is in this film. I couldn't believe it. There's and he plays this part. You guys ever see The Right Stuff? Is awesome, and it ought to be a Criterion film. And Jeff Goldblum plays this PR guy that works for the early version of NASA, kind of almost more like he works for the government, trying to promote NASA, trying to get NASA started. And he's and they're looking at the first astronauts. What could be a first astronaut? Who would be a first astronaut? And so they're looking at guys that come out, and Jeff Goldblum's presenting this idea to Eisenhower. We got these guys, trapeze artists, guys that come out of cannons in circuses, and that's who he thinks. Well, we think these they certainly can, they can keep their balance, like the guys walking across, trapeze artists, that kind of. They can certainly keep their balance, or the guys being shot at. And Eisenhower just keeps saying no. Test pilots, and apparently that's kind of true. That it took a while to get the idea of test pilots, but Jeff Goldblum kills it. He's awesome in this part.
I really thought it was going to be cold this go around. That
no, I didn't have to
somehow bring up Jurassic Park again.
I'm wearing my Rexy. I got Rexy on my shirt today.
Yeah. And then I thought it was me because I heard the Jurassic Park theme this morning. Yeah. It was an omen.
Yeah.
It was like
which really ought to be a Criterion film.
At this rate, we gotta get Jeff Goldblum on the podcast and then rename it to Criterion Coffee Club.
Featuring Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff
Goldblum's Criterion Coffee Club.
We get sponsored by Jeff Goldblum.
That's the dream, dude.
The next Criterion release that they do that has Goldblum in it, they get all of us to go to the closet.
We'll do a video episode if we get a Jeff Goldblum movie.
We have to. Yeah. I'll bring the Bright.
Yeah,
that'll be the special occasion for the Bright.
Yeah. The okay. The network news, dude. Do you remember the spine number?
Normally I have it just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
This time, nope. Also, it's not called network news.
Broadcast news.
Broadcast news.
But it's all like about network news.
Van Damme from last episode.
It's not.
Yeah, Dutch New Wave director Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's 552. Number 552 spine number.
For broadcast news.
Directed by James L. Brooks.
Yes. Okay.
And we talked about his background too. And
we did a little bit.
He has his broadcasting background.
when I watched the movie, I kind of came out thinking, that was a movie. That I don't mean that in a negative way. But like when people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna watch a movie or something," I think like this is the kind of movie people tend to refer to. They usually not some French coming of age film about a
Yeah,
guy dying
yeah,
or past, present, future all colliding in one,
right.
or
Or sentient
brains
brain psychic
fly. Yeah,
vampires.
like this was probably the most normal film that we've.
It's definitely the most grounded movie out
Yeah,
of what
it
we've
Right.
was.
seen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And yet it takes some terrific twists and turns that
It
you would
does.
not expect. Yeah. But that's exactly right. Most grounded movie. Yeah.
And then all I could hear the whole time was Mrs. Incredible.
right. Yeah. Oh my
It's Holly
god.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Being the main character. Oh man, that was also the most Holly Hunter role
Yeah. Yeah.
ever.
And it's I don't know. It was a little weird to me that they didn't lean into the I don't know. Her accent is
Oh,
is
it's so
so
deeply southern.
yeah, it's so distinct. Like there's no escaping it. And I do feel like there was times in this movie where I felt like she was trying to clean it up
Yeah.
and she just like
Well, it was also the early day of her career.
right.
That would have been a time when it was like you can't have
Yeah, you
the
can't have
accent.
that. I feel like there's times where she's trying to clean it up in this movie and not have it pushed so much. And there's
Yeah.
times where I'm like, oh,
It
that
just came out
that's
full
Holly.
force. Well, I feel like they kind of leaned into it by making her character from like Georgia or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
where her character
Yeah.
was from.
You have to explain it somehow.
Yeah, and I saw Georgia at the bottom. I was like, "Oh, this is Holly's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the child version of what will be." And then of course they got a kid with an also really deep Southern accent,
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Deep.
Yeah. I liked the little opening sequence. I thought that was
Yeah,
fun,
that
showing
was
them as
fun.
kids.
It gave you insight into how their characters would be later on.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting insight to the characters, and it was a good way of being able to show these things without just like they're on a first date and they're spilling these things
Yeah,
to each other. Because
yeah,
that would
that's
have been
always the
I think
worst.
that's like a really typical thing in these type of like movies where we have such a central romance plot.
Trope,
It's
yeah.
like typically what you would see is we sit down at a dinner table and Holly's like, I grew up in Georgia. I got a father who was always on me about, yeah, you know what I mean? Like instead of
Yeah.
just showing you these things, they're things that are told to you. And this movie like went
Yeah.
out of its way
And that was
to show it.
especially really good for Tom's character.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing
Yeah.
that really made out of all three of them, Tom's like seeing Tom as a kid made the most sense.
Yeah.
Although
Because
the line when
yeah, you see him.
for Albert Brooks's character, the most you'll ever make is 19,500 a year, and and then the guys walk away. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But like with Tom, it was like you see him as a kid, like he tries,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he studies,
Yeah.
and he just like it definitely some kind of learning disability or something because he just can't seem to understand. But he has a really good relationship with his dad, which
Yeah.
comes back a
Yeah.
couple times throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that line that he kind of rejects he's like, what does it even mean? They're gonna, I'll never have to work to be good looking. That is awesome. Yeah.
Broadcast news anchor.
Yeah.
Or future broadcast
This
news
is
anchor.
good,
That was funny. And then oh crap, what's the other character's name? Hold on. I have the page pulled
Yeah,
up. Albert
Yeah.
Brooks's character.
Martin.
Yeah, Martin.
That's not the character's name in this. That's his character from He's Martin in Marlin and Finding Nemo.
So there's two Pixar.
Yeah, it is two Pixar heavyweights in this movie. Future Pixar heavyweights.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's funny how those things play out.
Oh, it doesn't say on the synopsis. This is a funny, witty reporter. Thank you, Criterion.
Well, he is funny and witty.
You know,
he
Aaron,
thinks he's funny.
Aaron Altman.
Aaron, that's right. I remember it started with
Aaron.
an A.
Yeah.
Hey, say what you want. The funniest bit in this entire movie is him sweating.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
I looked up
That's-
trivia while I was watching it because I was like, "This is a fun movie. I'm gonna look up some trivia because there's got to be some fun stuff."
Yeah.
And Albert revealed later after this movie apparently had like critical and financial success after it released, but he revealed that when he read the script, that scene just said something bad happens to Aaron, like nothing specifically.
Yeah.
And he was watching the weekend news one day, like late night, and there was a reporter he had never seen before nor since.
Yeah.
And he was just profusely
Yeah.
sweating
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
And so he called the director James at like 3 in the morning. It was like, we have to make Aaron sweat.
Yeah.
Like profusely sweat from all his pores.
It's not uncontrollably sweating.
Part was so funny.
It was funny.
It was also like, oh, that's so awkward. It was that secondhand embarrassment because you're like, oh no, your career is over.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. They're not gonna let you back on, pal.
Yeah, it was perfect too, because something that where you can kind of he's delivering the news pretty well. He's not stammering or anything like that, but something you almost can't control sometimes. The body will find a way to attack sometimes, and it's sweating. And I love the empathy from the coworkers. I love that. One guy says he's written beautiful copy.
Yeah. That was my favorite part. Is that the guy's like, what he wrote was beautiful. Like, it just.
But man, he just has like makeup running down his face.
Yeah. They try to fly in the shirt.
Oh yeah, and then
they hit the sign and it's shaking.
And it's shaking.
And then John, your hand's in the shot. Clear the frame.
And it wasn't quite this on the nose, but the story he was reporting was sort of like an earthquake when the set is going wong in the back. Yeah, it's just that was awesome.
He said
the other straight up comedy
because they were worried he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Heart attack.
That's exactly right. One of the other awesome straight up comedy. I used to run this for students in like a class, a broadcasting class, and the other which straight up comedy was preparing that tape, getting where Holly Hunter just can't give it up. She's got to add one more thing. That beautiful shot from I think it was a shot from a painting or a book of maybe Robert Frost or something, and then dissolving that into the guys that come back from a war, it's beautiful. It works, but it used up every bit of time. They barely got that. And watching Joan Cusack trying to tape.
Joan Cusack absolutely bodied that water fountain.
You can feel the pain.
Like, that was real.
That was real, dude. She took that right on the hip.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing is incredible. She avoids the file cabinet that comes out and then slides underneath the file cabinet, jumps over the kid, but the water fountain. And I love the way they were, even before that. I don't know if either of you guys have ever been under that much pressure to get an edit done. Bobby. The editor is. Have y'all ever been under a similar pressure?
Oh yeah. But that was the scene that was like, I love this movie. I'm gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
Where they're just complete chaos and like, we got a minute left. We're not gonna make it.
That is honestly what felt the most real to me from a production part of all of this.
Just the hounding of the editor.
Bobby goes, oopsie. Go, no, oopsie.
That's right.
Oopsie.
I mean, you can say this is a romantic comedy, but honestly, this to me falls into one of the most enjoyable. I ought to seek out this genre more often. Work films, where films about work can be fantastic. And man, this is a work film, and just they love what they do. and yet at the same time they get tired, they're paid, they're underpaid, so you get all of those stresses, but at the core of it, this is what they love, and it just comes out of the pores of this film.
Um,
What you?
I'll. Well, you go. You go.
Oh, me. I was just gonna say, we really came full circle today.
Yeah.
We started this podcast with Orson Welles and Jack Nicholson, and now we are here again
With Jack Nicholson
and Orson
have
Welles
Jack
that I
Nicholson
brought
back.
up
Yeah.
earlier today. But Jack Nicholson, just like that first movie, somehow
barely
has
in the movie.
barely in the movie
But-
and just commands it.
I mean, just you're like Jack Nicholson was kind of awesome in that. Jack Nicholson is a like network news anchor. When he walked in, you're like, "That's Big Dog,"
Just I found out that this is the second movie he did with
Mhm.
James L. Brooks.
Yeah,
And
Right.
he actually didn't get paid.
to do this movie.
Yeah, at his request, which was ironic because I found that piece of trivia right when the guy made the quote unquote real funny joke
Yeah, about him
about-
taking $1 million off his paycheck.
Yeah.
And that was because Jack Nicholson doesn't say a thing, and the guy just starts apologizing.
Jack just gives him that Jack Nicholson grin, dude. And which I think has anyone just going, "Oh, sorry."
No.
And he kept going on and on. It was, of course, you
We're all just
million
under
out of
so
your-
much stress. Yeah, and then I like that like every time they're checking after something plays to see if he smiles.
Yeah.
Like anytime one of their
or just reacts in general.
or just reacts in general. Yeah, because if there's any type of reaction, they know like he's happy. And I thought it was interesting. He doesn't have a reaction to Tom's big piece. When Tom does the piece with
rape.
yeah, about the date rape
Yeah.
piece where that Tom does, and that's supposed to be like his first big thing. And I think it's because they're inferring that Bill knows that he cheated the crime.
Mm.
Interesting. Or that he knows he's a Twinkie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the major conflict, right? Is
Yeah.
that she finds out that Tom is kind of fake with his emotions. And watching it play out, it's super I mean, I get it from a journalistic perspective, it's super upsetting to watch. He's doing this interview with this woman, she's very emotional, and then like you see the camera get like picked up and moved and turn around, and then they're like, "Oh man, you were almost crying. If only we had that reaction shot from you." And he's like,
and then the light bulb goes off.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
right in front of this sobbing woman and just like manages to like fake a tear, but like, go give me a second, and like does the like he's like just like thinking about something real sad.
And speaking to that, Cole, I love the way this film presumes that you've got some knowledge, that you're smart, that
Yeah.
the viewer is
Yeah.
smart, because James Brooks characters, Albert Brooks' character says, "You did this single just one throwaway line. Y'all did that report single camera, right?" And
Yeah.
and
And
then
that was a
ding.
moment you're supposed
Yeah.
to like.
and I
Oh.
did. I didn't need you to feed me more than that. The moment they said that, I was like, oh, that is kind of weird. And then when he gives it to her, she immediately knows.
Yeah, when you watch that scene, I kind of felt something. You feel something is off about it because it is
Yeah.
weird that it like cuts back to him a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
times throughout the interview
Yeah.
instead of just staying on
Well,
her.
and she says that as a thing. She goes,
Yeah,
I don't know if I would have done that, but I am really conservative when it comes about these things. And I do think it shows when this movie was made, because I think there's a sensibility to journalism that is dying. And
100%, Cole. And what
Yeah.
she said has come to pass.
Yes.
What she said, we have gone into infotainment and the
Yeah.
news division. The news divisions. I didn't realize that was the big time of money being cut too, because they talked, totally bring that up. News divisions are being gutted. we're now in, when she gives that speech, God bless her, everybody,
Yeah.
and then it's supposed to be a good journalistic talk. We're all journalists. We're on the same side. We stand for news. We stand for authenticity. And they end up all laughing at the dominoes that are running,
Yeah,
which is
clapping.
two networks had run the dominoes instead of talking about a treaty and with the Russians, and everybody just applauds, gets into the dominoes,
Yeah.
and then when the last domino signals a little explosion, whoa, they applaud, and then they leave as if that's the end of her talk. That was God bless her. It's just
I think those elements of this movie are really interesting
yeah.
when you look at a movie a decade prior with Network, which is one of my
Oh right.
all-time
Oh yeah.
love Network, one of my all-time
Oh
favorite movies. But Network is this ridiculous satire, and it
right.
shows like that decade of news. There's so much development in how news is consumed by people because like Network, the whole point Network is supposed to be this crazy like out there satire, and it is like, wouldn't it be crazy if we sensationalized and commercialized news? Because at the time, like news is more of a like every
Information
net
standpoint.
yeah, networks lost. There wasn't a lot of networks, and they lost money on the news in the 60s and 70s. Like that was a service that they provided to the public as part of their station,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
30-minute national news every day. Yeah.
Right. And it is like through like the development of like network and broadcasting news for the 80s and how it developed is when we started news started to be commercialized. And you have a movie that is almost like poking fun, like, isn't that crazy? Like, no one would ever do this. No one would go straight fear mongering on TV just for views. And then we have a movie just a little over a decade later that is the main character's like worried that we have pushed that very sentiment too far.
Right.
And obviously, I think everyone, I mean, now Network, if you watch
Yeah.
it, like gives you goosebumps because you're like, oh
Oh
boy, we did exactly what this like film that was considered outrageous when this film was made, and now it feels like almost historical. You're like, oh
Yeah,
wow.
you go to websites. I remember like, those college papers, you got to go online and find a credible source. And
Ugh.
then you click on this awesome news article by whatever post,
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh, if you want to actually read this, you got to pay us a subscription fee.
yeah,
And it's like, why?
yeah.
We've really gone, and they talk about it in like throwaway lines a
Yeah.
little bit. Like there's the I can't remember the exact line that said, but at one point they kind of say that they're about to like go to commercial or commercial's about to come on, and while they're doing this big broadcast, and I remember Holly Hunter kind of just like seemed like she just got stabbed with like a pencil in her
I think
side.
isn't it when Bill shows the first 20 seconds of that war clip that they risked their lives
Yes,
filming.
yeah,
He
that's what it
shows it
was.
for the lead in, right? He shows the first 20 seconds, then they cut to commercial, and then they do the
yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah,
Then Bill calls her, tells her what a great job she does, and she mentions it. Like she can't help it. She's like, wish she would have kept the first 20 seconds in instead of using it to
As
make sure people don't leave in the commercial break,
exactly as kind of like a little mini commercial to keep people entertained, and and news, TV news does that all the time now. I mean, it used to be you'd watch Walter Cronkite, the grandfather of all TV anchors, pretty much, and there was none of that. We'll be back, period. And but now they're using that to
Mhm.
lead people in, and it all, keep that audience entertained, keep that audience immersed, keep that audience there, which ties to money, which brings us back to network, which is about a giant corporation taking over the network, taking and the news has got to keep people entertained and amused. And that line, oh my God, that
Yeah.
whole that scene in Network is just unbelievable when he finally, Mr. Beale, you just
Yeah. But I think there's a real it's really interesting comparing the two films, and they're both like we said, like workplace films
yeah.
about
I love I
broadcasting.
love workplace films in general.
Um I There is parts of this film I don't love. I mostly had a really good time. I don't really love a lot of the romance in
That
this
makes
film.
sense.
I like it a lot more from the workplace drama, the broadcasting stuff, and I understand the romance is intertwined with a lot of that. But at, her like best friend that's in love with her is like
Aaron.
Aaron is quasi manipulative through a fair amount of it, and
Yeah.
and is just like, I don't know. And they make go to the point to show that she doesn't have chemistry with him in
Right.
that way.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's my thing. I went in thinking that this would be like really a love triangle.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole film, I was like, well, she's getting with Tom.
Yeah.
Like that was clear. Like the moment they met.
Yeah. And then also, but like the whole thing was like she loves Tom even though she shouldn't. And I'm like, I just kind of hated it because I didn't find Tom redeemable enough to where I was
Yeah.
like Holly Hunter's character is
think-
awesome. Like she kind of kicks ass
Yeah.
like the whole time. The
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Helen Hunt, not Holly Hunter. Other
No. Yeah,
What?
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter's the
Holly Hunter's
You
this
got it
one.
right. Yeah.
I'm getting my country twang mixed up. I have to be careful with the names.
It's that alliteration thing.
Yeah. The but anyway, she the whole time I'm like, I don't think Tom is like
Yeah.
remotely shows, and like Tom's handsome, but
He's dumb.
he's really dumb and he's insincere, which is ultimately
The biggest problem.
why she cuts it off with him. And I appreciated that's where we brought it. I just felt like there was this whole movie where I don't know.
No.
I never felt for the romance. It's not like when Harry met Sally, where I'm like, by the end of it, I'm just like, they have to get together. I need this. You know,
that makes sense. Because like I was like with her and Tom, when she was unaware of Tom's
Yeah.
thing, like completely unaware of Tom's thing with the fake tear, it felt like a lot more fun. Like I felt more okay with it.
Yeah.
And then it was like the second she finds out, she can't.
Yeah.
She has to cut off, and thankfully she did.
I found Tom relatively insincere
Yeah.
before then. Like it was obvious, like, and it's just in the way that like he's not an actual journalist, and it is a very much like he has great tips on how to be an anchor, but like in doing that, it shows that like what he actually prioritizes is just like sitting up straight and looking handsome
Yeah. And selling.
and
He's a
selling
salesman.
and selling.
That's what he
That's
said.
says. It's,
I did like his character when he tried to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he tried to help. James.
Aaron.
Yeah. What's the character's name?
Aaron.
Aaron. Yes. We tried to help him out. And that was actually he was most authentic there because that's what he does best. He knew what he was talking about. Punch that one sentence and sit on that coat, and it was a nice thing. But yeah, I'm like you guys. I was so happy that actually I was happy at the end that this love triangle that nobody went to one side. It just all kind of dispersed in a natural way, and that felt good. That neither and that was and you're right. Oh God, yeah. He could also be Aaron could be really cruel at times too. Not only when
he was kind of an
when he
ass.
tells Holly Hunter at the end there, like we'll meet in 7 years or 4 years, and you'll be, and my kids are going to say, "Who's that fat woman over there?" I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah." And so
dude, when he would turn it and flip it, and then I hate that throwaway line at the end where he's like, "And we'll have dinner and we'll get hot for each other. We'll never do anything about it." I was just like, oof, dude.
If there's any reason not to be with you, it's that right there.
Yeah, dude. That's.
Did you guys see the alternative ending?
No.
Oh, it's this is one of the, I love alternative endings, but I'm glad they didn't use this one. In the alternative ending, and apparently he may have shot this. James Brooks may have shot the film kind of chronologically so he could decide at the end what he wanted to do. But at the end, when she gets in the taxi and she starts to give directions to every taxi driver, well, the fastest way, it's at the airport, and she gets in the taxi and she's left William Hurt. He pops back in the taxi. And I don't know how he got out of that airplane box thing, but anyway, he
Yeah.
pops he pops back in the taxi, and they kiss and they extend that they brief dialogue and they hold that kiss for like a minute and a half, and you're shaking your head and you're right. No, I am so glad
Yeah.
they did not use that ending.
That's
Oh, because and then that of course if you use that ending, you're not going to have that scene 7 years later when they get back together. So yeah, that was so that was what was good about that romance. I'm with you guys that it just dissipates. And
yeah.
I like that it dissipates. I felt like I needed to be more invested in it for it to warrant the amount. I feel like I was supposed to be more invested in it. I'll put it that way.
Right. And you were invested in the work side of things.
Yeah, I was way more interested in just like what's going on in the news station and like who's gonna make it as anchor. Like that had me. I was there for all of that, and I really enjoyed all of that so much.
Didn't you love that line where that's one thing about William Hurt's character when he complimented the editor, and and that just the editors thank you. And that was a nice, and again, knowing your workplace. Has anybody ever thanked you?
Yeah. Nobody ever thinks the
It
editor.
doesn't happen often. You're usually by
that's-
yourself too.
Yeah.
When you go, oh, that's a nice cut. Yeah, but I love that touch. So much about the work. Oh, and this kind of ties in the way it was shot. But when there are layoffs at some place, and that's not going to happen once every 3-4 years. That's going to happen. So it's not often that happens, thank God. But when those layoffs will occur, it felt so authentic, and even to the point where you're watching Holly Hunter and William Hurt, and he's coming up with the idea that they should go on vacation, but behind them all those people are still talking and hugging each other in the background. And it just, oh my God, that felt authentic. That just,
Yeah. So during the staff firings, you hear guys yell "sons of bitches"
Yeah.
and throws a messenger bag on the ground.
And that
was
is
John
Cusack.
Cusack.
I saw that.
Angry messenger.
I noticed when I was going through the thing that John Cusack was credited as like angry news, like angry messenger or angry news guy or whatever. I thought
the best line ever. If you ever get fired and somebody says, "Oh, but if there's anything I can do for you, let me know."
Yeah.
The best line ever. Well, you could die as soon as possible.
I just like how cordial he was, like up to that point. He was like, "I understand. Yep. Mm-hmm. Is there anything I can do for you? You could die as soon as possible." It's so flat. I love that.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's one to hold in reserve for
One thing. So when what's his name? Tom tells Aaron, "Hey, can I sit in on that interview you're doing to shadow you?" And Aaron goes, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
They actually did film that interview scene.
Okay.
Oh.
And then they deleted it.
Yeah.
But that scene was going to be where Tom goes, "Oh, I should try harder to be a reporter."
Oh. We just never get that arc.
Yeah, we just never get it.
Yeah.
You're right. I forget that's left out there kind of dangling, and we never.
That could have helped his character probably a lot.
Yeah, that could have helped his character a lot.
Yeah.
I just felt like we were talking about like how awful his character is.
Yeah.
I felt like that was important to point out.
Yeah.
Because that's the moment in the interview where he says he's going to try harder at journalism, which is probably what led him to do the rape story to begin with.
Yeah.
One thing too, when we'll talk about the way it was shot, and we'll leave that out. But one thing that I wanted to ask you guys on, I think you're closer to it than I am in some respects. What about stuff that there's a lot that did not feel dated at all? Holly Hunter is absolutely telling the story of what happens 35 years later. We're in the world she described. Including anchors, and I don't want to sidetrack myself to anchors that cry. There are anchors on air that cry on a channel I watch, and I couldn't believe she was delivered. She was talking about the Texas floods, but she just and I get it. It's poignant, but it just doesn't feel right. And she's on air asking people, and it feels just, this movie absolutely deals with that, and it's like no, that she's crossing a line. But speaking of line crossing, what what does it was there any I put it this way, it felt like William Hurt was pushing some limits. He's doing a story about date rape, and then you watch his interactions with Holly Hunter and how he kind of deals with her, and there's chemistry there, but it also felt a little like he's pushing some boundaries at some point, especially when they come out after that
He was
party.
selling himself.
Wait, there's a scene in the car where like when he pitches her the idea,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like starting to feel a little weird.
Right, when he pitched the idea. Yeah.
To be fair, I also felt weird when he said it's about women getting attacked, and then Holly Hunter shrugged it off
Yeah.
and laughed at it. That's
Yeah.
when I started feeling weird about it, because I was like, "That's a
And
weird
then
response
he
to
like
have."
fake attacks her
Yeah,
and like pulls her out of the
and
car.
then that made me feel
Yeah.
weird in a different way.
Yeah.
Like,
But,
hold on.
or after that party, his hand kind of wanders, and Holly
Yeah.
Hunter says, "You need to at least kiss me while you're doing that." And that
Yeah.
woof, that,
Oh my
yeah,
god,
that-
the lines he said to her,
During that interaction
or just the whole movie,
are rough. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And he's like, I just don't know why I'm talking like this. And then I'm like, I don't know if you talked to the other girl we see you get with any different. And like, also we haven't even addressed that. I mean, she
where
just
sent
sends
to Alaska.
she sends a newsacre off to Alaska to have a shot at Todd.
She really did.
I mean,
Just
she was
on
like,
instinct, too.
she was so out of it. And then they're like, which one do you want to send to Alaska? She was like,
Jennifer.
that was so. And then when we see Jennifer in Alaska, that's 4 more bodies from the frozen earth that we pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was covering like a serial killer that was like killing
in
women.
Alaska.
Well, Holly Hunter could be so brutal. I mean, when they were doing that special report, which really was good, when she was talking in his ear,
Yeah.
they're doing this special report about
Awesome
Libya.
scene.
Oh my
Awesome
God.
scene.
That was incredible, just incredible. And that gets us into shooting. But there's one line that she says, she's talking about, you're parking. What are you talking about parking? You get your blank, blankety blank,
Yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah, and he's like, I didn't know she was so good.
I
didn't know she was.
That's what,
Yeah.
But they
that was great.
used a split diopter in that scene,
Oh.
which was fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
The split diopter where it's like you got near focus,
yeah.
like 3 feet. I've seen it in Jaws. Use it in Jaws so that we can
Yeah.
see William
Carrie
Brody,
uses it.
Chief Brody's side of his face, and then you can see in the distance in perfect focus what's going on out in the water. Well, you can see William Hurt's earpiece. In the newscast, you can see his earpiece, and then up in perfect focus, 50 feet away in the newsroom, in the where they do the directing, directing the newscast in the studio control room, you can see Holly Hunter in perfect focus, and it was just beautiful.
Working on the
they
machine,
did that.
feeding him the lines. I do think that is like, that's the most interesting shot, at least in the film. It may be my favorite. I love that sequence, and then it's cutting in between what he's doing. It's not just cutting to him doing it, but also cutting to him on the monitor doing it.
Right.
Giving the news broadcast. And then also, I love every time it cuts to her switching who she's talking to or in her panel.
Right.
I love whenever we can give an audience that tactile like experience. Like my favorite thing in sci-fi is whenever it's like, okay, we're going to do a launch sequence and we're going to see everyone flick all the controllers and pull back on everything, because that's what makes you feel like you can live in this.
Making the heart symbol whole, sort of. Because I love those scenes in sci-fi. I totally do.
And I felt that with her in her executive producer chair. She's ready for the big moment and she's running the show, and you get to feel like these are the things she's doing. This was what it'd be like if you were in that chair in this high pressure moment. And once again, like I just thought the newscasting part of like the broadcasting parts of this are really phenomenal.
And that split diopter connects them together, because in the middle of all that chaos, and the set mise en scene is everywhere. She's dealing, sometimes they'll cut to a wide angle of the control room, and you can see all the people around her. But then you're right. Then they cut to just the buttons that she's pushing. And then you've got to emphasize that connection she has, that intimate connection she has with William Hurt with the split diopter. I think there's even a pan that does a great job at doing that too. That was ridiculously good. That whoa.
Oh yeah, that oneer where it's like you're kind of seeing what the audience is seeing, and then it switches to like what everybody. Which this is like a very small thing that has nothing to really do, but I loved in the background when it starts panning, you just see one production person standing off to the side eating crafty, as if like nothing's going on at the moment, as if this isn't a very integral moment for the entire station. Just like sitting there munching on some snacks,
talking about an attack on a military, a special emergency news report about attack on a military airbase in Sicily. You just have some PA in the background eating Cheez-Its.
like
James Brooks
like it's popcorn.
I mean, Aaron was so good the way he called in. Here he is. He's been dismissed, not fired, but you don't come, don't help, don't anchor this thing. But he calls in because he's got so much information. He calls about the jet. He calls about the all those leads, and then she feeds that stuff to William Hurt. It's just incredible. Yeah.
That also showed how well the three of them could work as a team.
Yeah.
Wow.
If they wanted to.
Yeah, if they like actually,
Yeah, and I thought it was
work together.
They kind of hint that maybe that's a possibility for the network show. Because he does invite him at the end. Obviously, she takes the job. And then Tom invites him and is like, hey, there's always room for you on the team if you want to move, if you ever want to get out of Portland.
Yeah. And Tom, he goes, why?
Why?
He's not going to take that. Not when he's got his kid totally trained. I love that curly-haired kid.
Yeah.
What is the line? I can't remember the line the kid says when they meet 7 years later. Oh.
Yeah, he asked the kid, who is that?
The big joke?
He goes, that's a big joke.
And then Aaron's like, I don't know where that came from.
Kids.
I did notice a lot of usage of the split diopter.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film, and I think it's so you can see a connection between usually two people.
Yeah,
that's what it usually was on, because it was even on Holly Hunter as she's looking at the control monitors, and she's looking more specifically at Tom's monitor, Tom's camera angle, and we see a split diopter there. Of course, the earpiece, and then to Holly, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then there's like a few other moments as well that you would see.
Wow.
And it was usually someone looking off at somebody else to some degree, like to form that connection, like even so far apart, here they are, which, probably would have been stronger if we were more invested in the romance aspect of everything.
That's but you get invested in the work aspect. And so that's where I caught the split diopter, was keeping that. And I really hadn't caught it in the other place. Is that, it's such a unique device. And in some respects, it does kind of call attention to itself, but in a kind of cool sort of way, if you know when it's being used and why it's being used. Do we have anything like that today? Have we kind of lost the split diopter?
In Evil Dead Rise. See, now we got the Nicholson, the Orson Welles, the Evil Dead, the Goldblum. We're just, you mentioned Jurassic Park's on your t-shirt, and I heard the Jurassic Park theme song before I left. It's just all coming around full circle. Episode 4, everything comes around. No, and we see that in the Evil Dead Rise, where the mom of these two kids and her sister's visiting, but the mom is the one that gets turned into like the Deadite, and she's in the kitchen, and Deadite's like taunting with their victims basically, and she's in the kitchen like quote unquote making food, but she's like just kind of rambling on about like crazy stuff, like talking like a crazy person basically, and you're looking at her looking down at like this eggs with a eggshells in it and glass.
Yeah.
And then right behind him, you see her sister holding holding the two kids tightly close to her, like just terrified. And that's like the most recent time that I've ever seen the split diopter. Because I had
Wow.
like just also watched Carrie that like within that like month. It was like, oh, there's a split diopter, which usually is the thing that is brought, either that or Jaws, which is brought up for the split diopter usage. And then I was like, oh, we do see it in today. Very rarely.
Very rarely you see the split diopter.
But it's got a use. I mean, it can be a powerful tool.
Yeah.
No, I think it's very cool.
Yeah, Jaws did it.
Yeah.
This is where Carter explodes. Talking about Jaws. That
Yeah.
movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Needs to be a Criterion film, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I feel
be awesome.
Yeah, it's on your shirt.
It's on my shirt. Also celebrating 50 years.
That's right.
That's
exactly
summer.
right. 50 years.
Man,
This summer.
they should re-release Jaws 4 in theaters.
I think Jaws 4.
Is there a fourth one?
I think so.
I lost track.
That was the one.
Like 3 Piranha films.
That was the one where the
Jaws that matters.
Yeah, that was the one film where the film psychically, the shark becomes psychically connected with, because they use one person from the original Jaws every time. In the remakes, the scientist got, which is good grief, great actor. The scientist in the first one, does not come back. Chief Brody did come back. I think Chief Brody's wife came back for a sequel. And Jaws 4 may have the wife. Michael Caine, believe it or not, is in Jaws 4, which is the worst Jaws. It's awful. The effects are terrible. But Michael Caine, and I remember Johnny Carson talking to him and saying, "You did this Jaws 4." And he said, "Well, I built a nice house on the coast with Jaws." But they're all streaming on Peacock now to celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Leave it to O'Brien to give us some random connection that we didn't think would happen. That's wild. But I don't know what I kind of usually see the split diopter in horror films.
Yeah.
Personally.
What you guys think about the lighting? And Nicole, hold your thought. But just wanted to bring, the lighting.
It's kind of like finding his thought.
What's that?
I was just trying to think if I could think of any modern examples of a split diopter.
Yeah,
like last 10 years, and it's
exactly.
It's literally only Evil Dead Rise for me.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rise.
It's the only time I can think about it.
I'm thinking of like some of the more.
I've seen some unique effects using lens stuff, like the Deaconizer,
right?
As it's officially called.
Yeah.
But I've never seen like a split diopter in like the last, or haven't really seen the last like 10 years.
Yeah, that's and I thought the lighting is not incredibly expressive. It doesn't, but it's just good high key lighting with good backlighting. It just like when she looks down at him, she gets to the party and she's talking to herself. This is the moment. If he does not look up at me, this whole thing is not meant to be. And then we look at her looking down at him, which is kind of interesting in terms of high looking down at something, but she's backlit beautifully there. And but there's just anyway, I didn't not real obvious use of lighting. It's not film noir or anything like that, but just good lighting.
Actually, now that I think about it, a reason why we probably don't see the split diopter has to be with trends in cinematography, because right now we're kind of like in this era where everything's super shallow focus. T2 minimum.
Dude. Hey,
ideally T1.5.
Wait. I just gotta say something about this. I gotta we pull back. I love a beautiful soft focus. I want the pretty bokeh. I want all of it. Okay. We gotta pull back. It has gotten, because it's either a film has none of it, or it is, oh my god, Why
It's,
is every shot in shallow focus?
what was that one Snyder film, Army of the Dead?
Oh my god, it's
And it was like shot
disorienting, dude.
completely at a T1.4. And that's also super hard for like focus pullers.
Yeah, it's disorienting to
Oh,
watch.
good grief.
And
Yeah.
I would just watched, and I don't know, I haven't seen the other movies in this series, so I don't know if maybe it's a trend they're carrying over. But I just watched 28 Years Later.
Right.
I doubt it.
Which I didn't despise as a movie, but I had some issues with. And the biggest issue I had was like the lensing is crazy busy the entire time. And I like creative lensing. Like I like it when you try to do cool stuff and you have cool bokeh, but it's like incredibly busy, handheld like
Yeah,
it's like
I know what you're
the
saying.
lensing is so busy and it's handheld and everything's in shallow focus almost the entire time. And there's like sequences where I'm like, I don't know if anything's really in focus for like 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I
'Cause
don't know, dude.
when you shoot at such a wide aperture, but also digital is more shallow than analog film.
Yeah.
So you could shoot T2 on digital and shoot T2 on film, and it's much easier to land focus on film. Like you don't need to hit it exactly 3
Right.
feet away, but like on digital, you need to get it exact. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's not forgiving.
you may as well
Yeah.
delete the footage.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
because like I watch old movies all the time where I'm like, yeah, the focus puller missed the mark there.
Yeah.
Or the actor missed the mark for the focus puller to be able to miss the mark or something along those lines. But we always see everything super shallow focus now. And I wonder, and but also everything's also got to have like a clean look for the most part. And split diopters have that weird thing where it's because that little prism is literally half a prism.
Right.
So you see that weird like middle part of the frame that's like this blurry image, whereas like on either side of it it's like completely in focus.
Right.
And I wonder if like because that implies, or I guess not implies everything's in focus, but more than one thing is in focus, that's probably a reason we don't see it as much.
Right. It's way harder to do if you're using shallow focus so much.
And then it's also another thing where it's like I see a lot of rack focuses now.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like good rack focus. I like rack
I hear you,
focus
but
myself.
we don't got to do it every like 3 shots.
But every time somebody puts their head to
It's
look at something, it does not need to happen.
You know, it's because you're not it loses its punch as a tool to help you tell the story if you're constantly using it. If you're constantly using it, then it just becomes something that's in the background. It's not being used for any revelation or moment. It is just there.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's what I appreciate. And I was thinking about like if that sequence we were just talking about, the oneer of broadcast news was shot today, for the most part, it would have stayed the same. I think the PA eating a random sandwich behind would have been lost.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part of the water for no reason. It was just funny.
Well, I love the editor always with
nice
his donut. The editor always had that donut.
It was just like a little nice nod to not everybody there cares.
Yeah. And I also
set dressing.
Yeah,
production value there. That's
and
the
just
word.
General, like we've gotten so lazy with blocking, and like there's this. Okay, this is like I don't want to go too much on a tangent on this, but like watch like there was this every frame of painting on YouTube, great YouTube channel,
right?
But he was doing this thing explaining why Akira Kurosawa is so amazing. And what part of it is just like what's happening in the background of every shot. Like there's always living happening. And then he's comparing that to a Josh Whedon Avengers movie and he's like, look, they're on this crazy helicarrier that's like supposed to be like center command. And like every person in the background is just sitting at their desk quietly working. Like no one's getting up or running stuff. You don't see someone like eating a donut. You don't see, you know what I mean? Like everyone's just quietly typing at a computer. And he's like, and they have this giant like window in front of them showing like the sky. And the sky is always just like bright blue with like lightly cloudy. It's like, it's always like perfect skies, and it's always people quietly minding their business, working behind Nick Fury the whole time. Like,
That's a great point. And that brings up the point. Yeah, I know we talked about it just a little bit on that when everybody's getting fired, the background is just
that scene
it's
was
chaotic.
awesome.
Everybody's
I
getting
loved
up,
that.
they're moving, they're hugging each other.
Yeah.
And it also tells the audience like, oh, the firing's begun, because we knew the firings
was
were
gonna
happen.
happen.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you see people get up and then they come back and they're either pissed or they're sad, and you're like, it's begun.
And their coworker comes and hugs on them, or they're helping them put things into boxes, or you hear like two chatting like in the very background. You can pick up lines of like the
Exactly.
extras.
You can pick up watch it
literally
with
just
Sons of
closed
bitches.
Yeah,
And then the messenger bag.
or
Exactly.
literally, or like literally just being like, "Do you think we're safe?" Like,
Yeah.
you hear someone like whisper that to a coworker in the background.
Right.
Like,
Lines
that is
floated
such
into
good
the
world building.
Yeah,
Or
world building, absolutely authentic world building. One last thing that talking about the world building is we're talking about Holly Hunter and the pressure she's under. She has to cry about every half hour, and that was an interesting. Every half hour in the movie running time,
when it started off with her crying,
Exactly.
I was like, oh. And then like when we saw it the second time, I remember audibly going, oh, this is gonna be a thing.
When she's crying at her, she gets to work before everyone else, and she's just crying at her desk. And then like once people come in, she like collects herself. She says hi, and then it was like the moment 8 o'clock hit, she plugged her phone back in.
Yeah,
like she had her work phone unplugged so she could have a good cry without being disturbed.
But once we get into her world, speaking of world building, once we get and we see the pressures that the Twinkie news guy William Hurt puts on, even her best friend is manipulative. You get into you realize boy, I mean, and she's battling that to be in charge when it's not incredibly common at all for a woman to be in charge of that. But and she's battling all that, and I think that's some of it comes out with those crying bouts. But
no, absolutely, she's under like insane pressure the entire movie.
Well, she's like a producer and then becomes executive producer at not just any news org, but like a pretty big news org.
Right. And she's it's the DC,
the Washington,
the Washington wing, and she's also like being put in charge right before the layoffs are happening.
Right.
And like she tells off the executive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she tells him off at that one thing about how Tom's not ready, yada yada. And to be fair, she vindicates herself because she's like the reason Tom doesn't crash and burn. But anyway, once again, the broadcasting news station stuff in this movie is awesome. I mean, it's really good.
Exactly.
I think that stuff is really what made it to get into the Criterion. Although I have seen, of course, that like this movie was really big when it came out. Or as big as a movie like this could be.
Right.
Because it's also so niche. Like
people
that are into
all those people had careers. All the actors in it end up having really big careers.
Were in Pixar movies.
Starred in Pixar films.
But another thing was like I saw that Holly Hunter was not the only one that was up for the role of Jane. There were several big names, or at least now they're big names.
Right.
And one of them, right before Holly Hunter was like the final one, right before her was Kathleen Turner.
Whoa.
Yeah, actually, hold on. I have the trivia. But Kathleen Turner, like a year later, also did a broadcast news movie that was called, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Okay.
Weird.
It's called Switching Channels.
Right.
But on Late Night with David Letterman asked Kathleen Turner if switching channels was like broadcast news. Turner replied that it was better. That film was a critical and box office failure.
Yeah. Oh, that's what Burt Reynolds and Christopher Reeve.
What? switching channels.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sigourney
and
Weaver
Diddy.
was one of the people in consideration for Jane.
This was also wild.
But Holly actually studied or shadowed an actual news reporter, and that's who her character was actually based off of in general.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so Holly got the haircut
Yeah.
as like a nod to that news reporter, which you know, I might be able to find the name here in a bit. But she had a very similar personality that was like, we gotta go, wait, like 3 minutes before,
Yeah.
decide to like cut a broadcast a certain way,
Yeah.
and then send it off to the editor and then
Yeah.
run. I remember that part thinking, you know, Joan Cusack, the people in Joan Cusack's position are just like, I'm so glad digital exists.
Yeah.
They had to run at
Physically.
full speed.
Yeah.
But and that's also another good scene with blocking.
Yeah.
The like background, everybody's
It's
like
great.
working.
Yeah, and then I love they all have definitive reactions to her. Everyone, like
Yeah.
all the extras, everyone in the background. I'm telling you, if you look for that stuff now in a lot of modern films, it just isn't there.
It just isn't there.
Wow, the blocking. It
Yeah.
was, it was perfect. Jumping over the kid, even watch out for that kid. I mean, just,
Yeah, it's just
And the
clears
mother
it.
looked pissed.
Yeah.
God.
And I
It just, you can still feel the pain from that water.
Oh my gosh, dude, she bodies that thing. It's
And
wild.
then she looks, I've got to go upstairs. After
Yeah.
that.
but I also heard this one theory, and I think that scene really solidifies it for me. It's like sometimes with technology is great, and I mean, after all, we are zooming
Yeah.
with O'Brien on a portable computer
Right.
at the moment, and I
Yeah.
have my own portable computer making sure I got these facts right. But in a visual standpoint, like with movies and TVs and stuff, or movies and TV shows and yada yada yada, at some point technology goes so far that it's just boring to look at. Right? Like, if you take the editing scene,
Yeah.
and if it was digital, it would not
Yeah.
have been as
Yeah.
interesting as it
Yeah.
was, because
Yeah.
they wouldn't have been fiddling with the tape right
Yeah.
there where they're like, God, no, guys, keep
Oopsie.
keep dropping it, or
Yeah.
like put it in wrong,
Yeah.
or like anything like that. Like none of that tactile feel.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't have been handed off to Joan, who
Yeah.
would have
Right.
just been booking it down the thing.
Yeah.
It would have been an email.
Yeah.
And then it would have been a shot of
I mean,
like an
yeah,
upload
yeah.
speed.
Come on.
Come on. We've all seen the upload
Yeah.
download speeds.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Which
But,
suck.
you know, since we already brought up like Jeff Goldblum, there's no point at not bringing up Jurassic Park at this point.
Yeah.
But like with the hacking scene,
Yeah, yeah.
like if that was just like the laptop that I'm using right now,
Yeah.
like it's just it wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And then it would have been like a USB.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been like
Yeah.
some device that was
Instead of the
hidden in
weird, like-
shaving cream.
Yeah, instead of the weird 3D like scape that she has to go through to unlock the doors.
Yeah. But it's like stuff like that. Like a CTV looks interesting.
Yeah.
Like when you have all these monitors as a security cam, and you got like all these CTVs, but then you make it flat screen and it's kind of just boring.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's
Well,
just boring.
it's when everyone is like familiar with this like very like there's just nothing exciting about Windows 11. I think like that's just what it boils down to. It's like we all know it. It's like it's normal, it's every day, and so it takes away some of the magic when when a lot like technology in film is more exciting often when it feels like, whoa, like this person's doing something that I don't know. I'm getting I'm being introduced into a world I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
But it's also Windows 11 is far more convenient than Windows XP.
Yeah.
Like you can watch a movie even at the time, or you can now. Clippy pops up and you know there's a problem.
Yeah.
and it's awesome. Like you see Clippy pop up, you're like, this movie awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this movie's so cool. Clippy's in it.
But like, we don't have that now.
Yeah.
But also, Windows 11 is so efficient, and like other technology is
Yeah,
just so efficient.
efficiency kills the creativity.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like, convenient for real life, not convenient when you're trying to make stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, how do we make the struggle of like submitting on this deadline easy? You hit enter.
Yeah.
It's not someone writing the paper out and then like booking it down the like 50 flights of stairs to give it to their professor at 11 a.m. on the mark, no later. But it's just, I don't know. But I feel like this movie was great at like, even for its time, I can see how people watching it felt super invested, even knowing like kind of like a general idea of how all this stuff is working and like
it's
how
also
tapes are made.
it is still really niche.
Yeah.
You know, and so it gives a lot for people to engage with. Are you ready to give this thing a bean count?
Bean count. Who wants to go first?
You went last time.
Okay. I don't know. You gave us our coffee fact.
Okay, I'll go.
Mr. Lemon Rant.
I don't. Every time I talk to y'all, I feel like I always end up liking the movie a little bit more than I originally did.
It's 100%. Yeah,
I think we do a good job at finding things to appreciate. I think I just have to be realistic with myself, and this movie's probably like a 6 for me. I want to almost push it to a 7. It's just, once again, I was never invested in a lot of the romance stuff.
Yeah,
and so it made it just too hard for me to get. I thought it was a good movie. I really liked a lot of the filmmaking. I just wasn't super invested with any of the characters that weren't Holly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's where it's a good movie. That's where I'm leaving it.
I think I'm going to go with 8.5, which I know is, but I liked it. The first time I saw it years ago, I kind of felt like you did, Cole. And the second viewing, I think the parts started to add up more, and maybe I just discount the romance a little bit and just go, God, they got work so right. And 80% of the movie's about work anyway. And so I'm just going to go kind of lean into that and just, oh my God, it's a good film. Yeah. But I see where you're coming from, Cole, because the romance is like, and thank God they didn't use that ending.
I would have, I think, gone to the point of like, I dislike this movie. And that was the ending. The ending, I like the ending.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Me, I don't know, because I'm kind of with you. I didn't really love the romance stuff in general. But also, this is the kind of movie that I found entertaining enough that's like, I got nothing better to do. You know, I don't feel like watching something akin to A Safe Place or any of the last 3 films. Really.
Well, you can't just be. La Promesse is not an everyday watch.
Broadcast News is not like the extremes like the first 3 films we've done are, and it's just kind of like a solid, enjoyable film. It's funny. I love Holly Hunter in general, except for the movie where with the peach tea that shall not be named. I brought up Snyder too many times today, so I won't get into that. But I think, I don't know, I hate to give it a 7 because I feel like I keep giving things 7.
Yeah.
And then also it's like right in between both of y'all, but I think I got to give it 7.
Okay.
But I will give it light roast.
7 light roast.
Light roast.
Yeah.
Because it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit more in line to what I'll consume.
Mm-hmm.
But not frequently, you know?
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's spin that wheel, man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Woo-hoo. You got any more facts while my
the
Brazil makes more coffee than any other place on the planet.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Because it's also huge.
Yeah, I saw that when I was looking up coffee facts earlier.
Well, Ethiopia is like one of the most prominent ones.
Right. You always hear about those. like people wanting Ethiopian beans.
I'm drinking Ethiopian beans.
This guy's drinking Ethiopian beans right now. What?
I'm so ready for this movie.
What is
Give me
it?
the drum roll, please. Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh, okay. What's my number? Is
Wow.
that?
794.
794
Oh,
inside
a recent
Llewyn
one.
Davis.
Starring Oscar Isaac and directed by the Coen brothers. And this
Yeah.
is one of the few Coen brothers that did not have Roger Deakins on it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Amazing. Right.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to watch. What you got a synopsis?
Oh, have you seen this movie?
No, have not.
You haven't?
No, I
seen this?
haven't.
I thought you've seen this movie.
Mm.
O'Brien, you've seen it, right?
I've seen about half of it.
Oh, so
I
you
don't
haven't
know
seen
how
it
I
all the
got
way
sidetracked
through.
ever, but I was really liking it, and I need to. Yeah, it's time
I
to.
do absolutely love this movie.
Heck yeah.
Oscar Isaac plays a character named Llewyn Davis.
It might be like one of the only Coen Brothers movies I haven't seen, so that's like exciting.
That's
Yeah.
the opposite for me. I've seen Llewyn Davis, No Country for Old Men, and then the 3 comedies of the 90s. Fargo.
Okay, as long as you've seen
Fargo, Oh
Big-
Brother,
uh,
Where Art
Thou,
Thou,
Big
and
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski, yeah.
Okay.
I'm so
Oh,
surprised
Raising
Brother isn't
Arizona.
in the Criterion, but
Speaking
Yeah.
of Holly Hunter, you need to watch Raising Arizona.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Raising
Oh,
Hey,
God.
hey, we brought Nick Cage back.
Oh, no!
Anyway, Llewyn Davis is loosely based off of Greenwich Village folk legend named what's his name? Dave Van Ronk.
Okay.
Like right before Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of you just kind of follow his life
Yeah.
throughout it. And it has typical Coen brothers aspects where there's like a little bit of dry humor, but they're also pretty serious for the most part. It's I would say a slice of life, more like, unlike the other ones where there's a definitive plot happening A, B, C. It's just kind of like they take apart.
It's a character film.
Yeah, it takes a part of him. Oscar Isaac sings, plays the guitar, and acts beautifully because he's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Of course, John Goodman shows up.
Right.
He's probably my favorite character. He, just like Jack Nicholson, he comes in and he commands the scene. Little side note, the guy from Tron Legacy is also in it.
Oh.
Okay.
You haven't seen him before since.
But here he is.
Here he is. And then later he did Pan, which was the worst Peter Pan movie. Also, Justin Timberlake is in it.
Okay.
And he helped develop some of the music.
Sure.
So all these songs in it, because the Coen brothers love using folk songs.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they're actual real songs. It's just like they've been covered by Oscar Isaac
With the help of Justin Timberlake.
with the help of Justin Timberlake a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Adam Driver makes an appearance as well.
Wow.
It's a pretty stacked cast.
Okay.
But I think you guys will absolutely love this film.
Yeah, I'm excited. That sounds really fun.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I just want to point out, because Cole and I are in a different area at the moment than we normally are.
Yeah.
And we've kind of been surrounded by his two cats today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of lucks out that we got Llewyn Davis, because look at the cover.
Oh.
There's a cat on the cover.
Oh my goodness.
There's a whole plot line with the cat.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I'm there for that. I'll get Kylie to watch it then.
Oh, I think Kylie. Oh,
She actually likes the Coen brothers a lot.
okay. Yeah, she'll like this one.
Yeah.
Because it's not as serious as No Country for Old Men,
Yeah.
but it's not nearly as comedic.
Yeah,
And
I-
also, you kind of just entangled by Oscar Isaac
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
like just his overall performance. But yeah.
I'm super into this. I'm super excited.
F. Murray Abraham's in it as well.
Wow. That's that. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, he is. I told you, it's a stacked cast. like one by one, I'm remembering the people in this film.
Okay, man. I'm out. So inside
Llewyn Davis.
That's our next one.
Spine number 794. I'm sure you can find a place to watch it somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's on the channel, sometimes
It's available places.
Who
I think I've
knows?
got it on DVD.
This is one of the rare times Criterion doesn't have it listed on their site, so
Yeah.
it might be in a weird limbo licensing state at the moment, but who
Right.
knows? It also,
It's a
I feel
Coen
like-
Brothers movie. It'll be available
I
somewhere.
feel like it's also important to note timestamps, 104 minutes, and disclaimer, just strong language
Yeah.
a few times. That's basically it.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Well, so before we go, please like and share if you enjoy this podcast, and if you want to bring your own ideas from the movies we watch, or just wish to chat about cinema or coffee in general, then leave a comment and engage with us. We're on Spotify and YouTube at the moment. I'm Isaac,
I'm Cole.
I'm O'Brien.
and we'll see you guys later. Roast you later.
And the director's
Hey,
telling
you're
me
looking at me like I need to say something.
No, that was good.
You're
Roast
good.
you later. That's perfect.
Roast you later. Goldblum. See you next Goldblum.
there you go.
Okay.
See you next Goldblum. Oh, I like that.
Roast you later and see you next Goldblum.